Yeah, good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. It's good to be with you guys again. I think we've been doing this since Monday. This is the third day of the induction, and I hope so far, you're getting value out of it, and you're able to get a little bit more clarity on what the induction program is about. I've been getting some emails from a number of you asking if you're going to get um, stipends or something like that over the course of this program, like you're actually being taken to work as an intern per se, which I like to still make some notes about. It is actually a training program. The way it is fashioned as an internship is that after the program, or within, if you are able to progress towards the later stages of this program, we feel like by the end of 3 months or thereabouts, you should already be getting some more hands-on projects to work on, which now sharpen your skills as a cloud, or a data engineer. And then you can really gain the confidence to take on external projects with clients. And one thing we're also trying to do is after the program to ensure that we can take in some of you guys. The best of you. We're also looking to expand our own pipeline of data engineers and cloud engineers. So some of you will be getting offers to work within CIL. You become my own colleagues too, and then we drive all of this stuff together. But aside from that, for the number of you that are also very good and are able to really display your competence, and you really get the hang of everything, and you're able to show us that you're really worth all of that. We're also working on trying to get you guys placed with some of our partners, and there will be opportunities that will come where we will and we will keep sharing. We shared some opportunities for some of our previous cohorts. We had some new opportunities come up very recently that we also shared with some of the successful participants of the course for internship. And we're also going to be doing the same, and maybe even at a larger scale for this particular cohort. So yeah, that's one thing you guys should expect. Just trying to run through some of the questions that have been coming into my DMs. Joan, can you move to the next slide? So I want to kind of highlight all the digital channels that we have available where you can kind of communicate or engage with us. I already made mention of some of this yesterday during the session. So for now, the two very busy channels that we've been engaging in are the email and the community channels. So we have the CIL Academy channel on Telegram, where there are a number of people engaging as well. And then we have Slack, which seems to be quite confusing to the majority of us on how to communicate, where to find information, and all of that. I mentioned that there is a video on the announcement channel on Slack. So if you check your Slack right now and you go to the announcement channel, there is a pinned post from Blessing. The pinned post, kind of just tells you that this is a walkthrough on how to use Slack. It shows you all of the available, the available channels that you have access to, and how to navigate around those channels. So if you just go there, I think it's the first pinned post on the announcement channel on Slack. So you can just go there. It's a 4-minute video that if once you watch it, you get a proper idea of what you should do and how to navigate Slack. We constantly dropping and posting information about everything we think you need to know on Slack. You've also been getting emails with updates and information, links, resources, and materials that we're trying to furnish you with during the program. But I think a lot of us are not very accustomed to following through with our emails, which we should be actually, because there's a lot of important things that come in via emails, and then you miss, you probably get an opportunity and be like, oh, I did not see the email, and that email has been in your DMs for a month, where you're being offered a job of 150,000 USD, and you did not check your email. You are more active on WhatsApp and Snapchat. So let's make it, an habit to check our emails at least for 5 minutes every day. Just see what is really going on, aside from all the marketing emails that you're getting from everybody else, and some of the boring social media updates that all of your networks are sending to you to tell you that somebody just posted a video of a cat sitting down on the fence. So there are also important emails. So you should one thing you should really do is to have specific email addresses for different things, especially for important stuff. You should have at least one email address that is for important stuff, which you will not use to sign into Twitter or Instagram or one of those networks that might be kind of distracting. So you have an email address for serious things like job applications and learning and all of that. So whatever email you get there, it's priority and is important. One thing I also want us to try and do is, if you check your emails now and you see you've been getting emails from academy@secureintel.com. If you have not been getting these emails, they probably they're probably in your spam box or promotions. Now, if they're in spam, please go there and mark as not spam. You can add academy@secureintel.com to your trusted email contacts, so whatever mails you get there are not flagged. Also, there's a possibility that promotions. A lot of us do not read promotions because, like on Gmail, they're already fashioned. They're already fashioned for you not to really see them as the first thing in your inbox, because there are promotions. If you want to see promotions, you go to promotions. That's when you use Gmail. So if that is the case too, please you can unmark the labels for the emails coming in from the academy as promotions. You can untick those labels so they go to your inbox as important mails, because they are actually important mails that we took our time to craft and write, and we're trying to communicate important information every time. A lot of you keep asking for the links or slide recordings from the induction. Now, this is the channel we would like to really send you those materials, send you those the email with the slide recordings, with any other additional materials that some of our speakers may have passed across to you guys. So if you're not opening these emails, you're not getting these emails, you're not going to get access to these materials. We also try to still send them on some of our channels like Slack and Telegram, but a lot of you guys are also still very confused about how to use Slack or use Telegram. With the influx of different messages from different people, you don't know which one is important or which one is priority. But one thing that should help you as well is there are specific channels for announcements. For the announcement channel, for example, I see it's only admins that can send messages there. So if you need to see something important, go to the announcement channel. The only people posting there are myself and the CIL Academy faculty. So you can expect that whatever messages are coming there are important. So if you're not getting the emails, but which you should, then you get these communications on Slack. We're trying to reach out to you guys everywhere. Also for people that are unable to join, you're having any issues joining Slack, the Slack channel is actually open for you guys to join. So if you get the link to our Slack channel, you can easily just join the workspace. So if you're on this webinar and you're not in the Slack workspace, you can join the workspace. I think I will leave a link to the workspace here in the Q&A, which is really the chat box on Zoom. So you can join the workspace. Now, when you join the workspace, you need to be added to the Cohort 5 Cloud and Data channel, because it's a locked channel which not everyone will get access to. So if when you join the workspace, you can look for me. My name there is James from CIL Academy, or you can talk to Blessing, Nwojiji, CIM, some other beautiful additions that she added to her name. You can talk to Blessing, or any person, any of us that you've seen on the announcement channel posting stuff. We have the ability to add you to the Cohort 5 Cloud and Data channel, so you don't miss important information, and you can also connect with your fellow CILDevs on Slack. Also, let me still address a couple of things that have been coming into the emails and the inbox and my own personal mails. People asking about how to join the webinar. We probably missed the session yesterday. You were busy at work, you were in school, you had to cook for your spouse. You had to go out yesterday because yesterday was Valentine's Day. I don't expect, except you're really lonely, like a lot of engineers. You had nobody to even call to show love to. I don't think that should be the case. So yeah, you were busy yesterday. You could not join the morning session. You had your girlfriend coming over. You had to call your mom. Because that woman has really tried for you. Something like that. So yeah, you missed any of those sessions, you get slide recordings sent to you guys and additional materials that you probably missed. For the codes that are being shared for you to just kind of see that you're paying attention and you're attending all of these events. Juwan has been very kind to, share the codes again yesterday. And he quite mentioned that, I might not necessarily be sharing those again, but I also want to still try to dispel the panic and the fear and agitation that a lot of us have. And I missed the code, it did not show on my screen. I joined the session, but I do not know when the code was shared and all of that. We'll try to still attend to all of this kind of at scale. You're not just going to be disqualified from the whole program because you missed the codes. When you've actually kind of really participated. So we're looking at, additional criteria. We used to know who is following. Like, for example, if after all of this, my plenty talk, you cannot really identify, that my name is James, my name is not Juwan, and, I'm James from CIL Academy and all of that, then you really did not attend this session. So yeah, these are some of the things that we're kind of looking at. And don't be scared. We're really interested and really invested in your success. And we actually put this program together to make sure that you get value out of our programs and you're able to become competent, because that's comes back to us as a very good thing. We are proud to identify with you guys that passed through the academy and you're doing well, you're doing great. So that's another thing to note. So we have also the YouTube channel, CIL Academy. So yeah, a lot of our videos, any video events, online events we're having, and even physical events, we'll put those recordings on our YouTube channel. At some point, we'll probably be streaming directly to YouTube too, so people can join us externally. But for now, we're just going to have the live events, and then the recordings will be made available on our YouTube channel. So you can go there, subscribe, so you get updates whenever the video is posted. And then you can have that, without having to save, large video files and sizes all around. You can just go to the CIL Academy YouTube channel and see whatever you want to see there. Our website is, it's available for you. You get access to the LMS soon, and we're going to still walk you through how you can navigate the LMS and, the things you can do there. I think I mentioned yesterday that one thing you can also do on our LMS is you can contribute to the LMS blog. So, as you're learning, you should also be able to document your learning journey so you can go back and see how far you've grown. And, I think one thing everyone should really do too is to also share your experience, share your story. And just for you to kind of keep a trail or keep a personal notes, writing is not necessarily very difficult. Just write from your heart. And then when you finish writing, use ChatGPT to correct your grammar, or use Grammarly or whatever. But you should be encouraged to document our journey. So you just started this internship program this February. By maybe June or July, you should have grown. You should have some progress. So if now you're struggling with understanding the difference between cloud and data engineering, or the different domains in data, data analyst, data science, and data engineer, in 6 months' time, that should not be your headache. You should be looking at more advanced stuff on how to connect, architecture and maybe AI to complex systems and all of that. And then you see your growth because you documented it. So that's the essence of blogging. You can also still utilize your own personal digital and social channels, like your own personal LinkedIn profile. You can go there and post, you've started this internship program or this training with CIL Academy, and this is what you look to benefit from the program in the next couple of months. This is your current state and what you intend to accomplish when you're done and stuff. And that kind of also gives you exposure. You have contacts, there are some HR people that are probably looking out for, resources. There are probably people that want to start stuff and want to connect with people that are also in the same learning journey. So if you do not, blow your own trumpet, before somebody else will blow it for you, might take a while. So go on and do that for yourself. We have LinkedIn, which is very professional. I think personally, LinkedIn is maybe the best network for you guys here. There is also Twitter. Yeah, you get to trend on a lot of different things on Twitter, join different conversations, depending on who you're following. So follow CIL Academy too. Follow AWS, follow Google, Microsoft, follow all the cloud providers and all the technology leaders that you are interested in. So you're up to date with latest technologies and events and whatever is going on there. Also, CIL Academy is on Facebook. Personally, I think Facebook, has outlived its relevance. But a lot of us are hooked to Facebook because you have to use Instagram. Instagram is really great. And if you don't use Facebook, you cannot necessarily use Instagram to the fullest, especially if you're advertising. So yeah, we're on Facebook. If you're one of the legacy legends, people that started Facebook with Zuckerberg in 2005, in Cyber Cafe where you used to buy time for 60 minutes for maybe 100 naira or 200 or something like that. Yeah, so we're also on Facebook. We are there, or Meta, as that is what we are doing now. Meta humans and metaverses. Yeah, so we are also on Facebook and Instagram, and yeah, basically anywhere. And like I said earlier too, if you think that there's somewhere that we are not, that is really the place we should be. If you think it's Snapchat, we can keep strict. So we have very social savvy. We are not just boring nerds in CIL Academy that don't know anything aside from code. So we can also join Snapchat. We can also be on TikTok. We have one or two big people within CIL that are even on TikTok doing amazing things. You'll be surprised. So if it's TikTok that you think we should join, we are there, or whatever. But these are the channels we have right now, and we intend to and hope to be able to connect with you guys adequately. Provide you with educational materials, resources, and basically everything that you need to succeed and accomplish your personal and professional goals, depending on whatever they are. So I think that's basically it for socials and digital. And I can take a couple of questions before we have the next speakers come on the floor. Okay, so one question just came in now, and I've already addressed this. This one is from Chibuzo. Chibuzo is asking, he said he attended the session yesterday. At some point, his screen was blank, he kept checking Q&A session, and he did not see the code. So yes, the code was not shared on the Q&A. Well, I think it was. Yeah, the code was actually shared on the Q&A session. Now the Q&A session acts like the chat box on Zoom. It was also on the screen for maybe like 5-10 minutes before we closed. So I'm not sure how you guys joined, the webinar. If you're joining, I think it's best to join on your PC. You use a Chrome or a Mozilla Firefox browser, or basically any browser. I don't think you have as much issues as a lot of us have been having on mobile. And I also see that we do not even understand, how the mobile works. So you need to download Zoom meetings on your mobile phone if you want to join on mobile. You'll not be able to join on your mobile browsers. Now, Zoho kind of wants you to use their app because, they want to be able to engage you with push notifications and some other things like that. So they want you to download their app if you're joining on your mobile phones. And then when you join on your mobile phone, you might need a meeting code to launch the meeting on your app. Now, if you pay attention to your emails as well, and you've already registered for the webinar now, you will get the meeting code on your emails from Zoho directly. You will see it branded from webinars@securintel.com with Zoho and all of that. And then it will come in to your emails. Then you can use that code to jump in on the mobile app. But it's very easy if you're joining on your PC. But I understand that a lot of us are mobile and they're probably on the road or doing something else. So mobile might be prepared. So download the Zoho Meetings app and join in on your mobile with the webinar code that you've been provided via your email. For people that's also registered for the webinar now, we have morning sessions such as this. We also have afternoon sessions. The morning sessions are from 10 to 11:30, and the afternoon sessions are from 2 to 3:30 p.m. West African time. So you can check your time zone to convert how those times work so you do not miss them. So if you need to register for both the morning and the afternoon sessions. Now, if you register for the morning session, you are registered for the morning sessions throughout the induction period from Monday to Friday. If you register for the afternoon sessions, you're registered for the afternoon sessions for the induction period from Monday to Friday. So you do not need to register again. But if you've not registered at all, you're going to have issues. And you need to register for morning session and afternoon session. And then it registers you for all of the events that are occurring this week. So that's how the registration actually works. And you can join on your desktop directly. If you want to join a mobile, you need the mobile app. There's another question about the LMS. Yes, so we're going to still have sessions to really discuss the LMS in depth. I think from tomorrow we'll be talking more. Joe and I will be, taking you through the LMS to kind of help you understand the navigation and everything you need to do there. So yesterday, someone is asking a question about Tembile Ndlovu, the community manager for AWS for Africa. She promised to send her slides, and that couldn't be projected in our Slack. Okay, yes, you're going to receive those, the slides and the additional links she was trying to share, telling you about the different communities that you can join for AWS within your regions. So yes, I would. I'm trying to get that from her to have that sent over to you guys. We'll be sending that via email. So like I mentioned, please go and start receiving our emails. Start acknowledging our emails. academy@secureintel.com. Go on there and remove us from spam box and promotions as well. So you get those emails and you really get the materials you want. We also try and send the links and the material on Slack in the Cohort 5 Cloud and Data channel, which you should be in that channel. If you're not in that channel, text myself or Blessing on Slack and ask to be added to the Cohort 5 channel. What other question? Yeah, I have some people here saying they're on mobile and could not get the code before it was removed. So I think this is a recurring issue. Probably people on mobile are not able to see the codes that were shared at the end of the sessions. So maybe we'll check that again for the mobile guys. Or like I said, we're not looking that the code is not the only criteria to disqualify you from the program. There also you basically have to have paid attention during the program. You have to have attended. You also need to take some of our trainings. When you have access to the LMS, for example, you're going to be encouraged to take some of the courses there. And these are all of the criteria that will be used, aside from just the code. The code is just a code. Anybody could have gotten it. Some of you already shared the code with some of your friends and colleagues that did not even join the program. So you understand the efficiency of that. So yeah, that's that on the code. Someone is asking why the induction period is stretched out and long, and we will appreciate a documented guideline. This is from Aminat Abolade. Any reason why the induction is stretched out and long? A documented guideline. I'm not really sure what Aminat is asking, but say maybe we need more clarification. Why is the induction period stretched out? You're probably talking about why we're running the induction for a week, for Monday to Friday. If you've been paying attention, you see we've had different activities packed throughout the week. From Monday to now, we've had guest speakers from everywhere, from AWS, from Microsoft. So if we're going to have the induction in just one day, then we need to bring everybody into a very long call for maybe 10 hours, and nobody will stay for, after the first 1 or 2 hours, everybody will leave the place and nobody will really get value for anything. So that's why we're splitting it into, morning sessions, afternoon sessions, spread across the week, because we want to touch on various things that will help you during the program. I want to equip you with sufficient information. Many of you should already have, the timetable of events. So that one kind of gives you an overview on what to expect during the induction. And after the induction as well, we expect, many of you that will be continuing the program, we're also going to give you, the courses you're going to be taking, guides, and every other thing you need to do. So we just need you to basically stay in touch with us, because it's a hands-on program. If it was just a, do it and leave it, we just created one course for you to go and take at your own convenience, then we're not really going to get the kind of impact you're looking for, because we want to engage you in real-life projects. We want to make sure that you're actually qualified, you're actually competent enough at the end of the program. That is why we have an induction. We're spending so much time on an induction. if you also see on Slack, in the past couple of weeks before this week, a lot of people have had a lot of different questions about a lot of different stuff. And this is just the opportunity to basically answer all of that and give everyone, the information that they need. What other questions do I have before I move to allow the next person to take the floor? Someone is asking if the codes, if it will be beneficial if the codes are shared in the Q&A section. Yes, the codes were actually shared in the Q&A session and should be shared again in the Q&A session today, so look out for that. Someone is saying you always get an email after attending the session indicating that they attended. Yes, so yeah, that's correct. If you attend the session, the webinars, you get an automatic email that kind of acknowledges you attended. So I think that's all the questions I would take personally. The next session, Juwon, if you're here, Juwon should take us through the next
session. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, James. Thank you for that wonderful session. So, like he has rightly said, everything that we pack into this one, we cannot be done in 1 day or 2 days, right? So we have to spread it over. So until you start putting conditioning your mind that, okay, this is not just an induction, this is actually part of the program, you probably will be feeling weary and you'll be asking yourself, why are we even doing this? Okay. So try to get the reason behind it and you keep on enjoying it. Okay. So the question has been answered already. Now we're going to go into the Ask EMA session, Ask Me Anything. And I think this part is where I would expect the most engagement. We're going to be talking to ex-CIL Academy, people that are currently working with secure intelligence, and Omobolanle would be leading that session. So get your questions ready. What is bothering you now? Are there questions you have around employment? Are there questions you have around how they went through the process themselves? So get it ready. Omobolanle, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to be here this morning. This is the Ask Me Anything session, and it's primarily for our previous cohorts, people who have gone through, this phase as you have. A lot of us asked some questions. I remember some of the questions talking about the fact that, what if I don't know anything? How can I navigate this? What is expected of me? You get to, ask people who have gone through the process you're about to commence, and they help you through how they navigated the process. Okay, so we have a few of them on the call. Like James rightly said, some of you who conclude the session would be, some of you will be recruited, and we have some of them with us that were, opportune to join the organization and become colleagues, from being interns. We have Qazeem on the call. We have Cornelia. We have Teddy. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Hi, Qazeem. Can you hear me?
Hello, Bolanle. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. It's good to have you on the call. Teddy, can you hear me?
Hello, Bolanle.
All right,
can you
thank
hear me?
you. Yes, I can hear you, Teddy. We have Cornelia. Cornelia, I don't know if you can hear us now. Okay, waiting for Cornelia to join. She's actually having some network issues, but she should have access now. Cornelia, can you hear us?
Hi. Okay. You guys can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you now, Cornelia. Good to have you guys on board. Thank you. I like these pictures that being displayed. He looks so serious. All right. So we can start asking our questions, dropping our questions in the Q&A session. But while we're waiting for questions to come in, I have some questions for all of you. Cornelia, you were part of the first cohort, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah. I was
like the very first set. You did not have like
one
those ahead of you. How did this feel?
No.
Can you just in few minutes, just give us a bit of your experience? You started from do you have some prior knowledge, or you just zero to Techie? Because we work together, and I know that you are Cornelia has so many certifications, and see this very subtle voice you're hearing. This girl is a badass.
Down, please. All right. Okay. So when I started or when I made the application, honestly, I guess that month was the very first time I heard about cloud computing. And I was like, okay, so this is something I was really interested about. I was already doing some research about it. Then I saw the internship. And I was like, oh, nice. It came at the right time. So I made the application. And when I got accepted, it was like, well, it was like a miracle. But somehow I passed the test. So basically I had like, should I say, very little prior knowledge of what the cloud was about. I was learning along with everyone there, and it was really exciting. Like so many things were coming at the same time, but I was having the most fun with it. I think the only issues I had was, well, looking for where to charge my laptop and actually work because Nigeria. Yeah, apart from that, it was fun. I made friends all over the place. It was amazing, to be honest.
So nice, Cornelia. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, Teddy, yes. What set, I'm sorry, Ted, what set were you in? I think you were in Cornelia sets or Cohort 2.
I was in Cohort 2. So basically, right, when I came in, I was in Cohort 2. When I applied, it was, okay, let's just see if this works through. I didn't really know much about data engineering. I didn't really know much about anything per se, aside from Python. So after I came in, a couple of weeks, I got paired up. I worked with my fellow colleagues. I remember working on a project and the project's coming to life. I created databases, things I wasn't able to do before, things I didn't even know much about prior to joining the academy. So it was actually a very great and very nice experience for me.
Right, thank you, Teddy. Qazeem, our newest one. Okay, your experience.
Okay. Good to have me here. So for me, I think I'm one of the main pioneers, the zero to techie. I don't know about any other person. Why? Because before I joined or before I enrolled for the academy, I didn't know like anything regarding networking, IP address. I'd never even used Git before, nothing, like nothing. Then I think I was learning about data analysis. I just knew how to use data. I knew something about Python, just very, very little. So when I came, first week, I was seeing all those things. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's happening here? But I'm somebody that likes challenges and I like things that interest me and solving problems. So in those things, it made me read more, of things, and yeah, found myself here. It's been an amazing experience so far. So yeah.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so I'll be going into the Q&A session now. So I'll be asking the question from the intern. Okay, I'll just throw the question open and maybe call one of you guys to answer the question so that we can ensure we take as much question as possible. Okay, someone is saying, as an ex-CIL academy intern, was still the only organization that gave you the opportunity to practice, or were you able to secure other placements? Cornelia.
Okay.
Cornelia, did you get that?
Yeah, I got a question. Should I say I've been getting a lot of mails from recruiters and others, a lot of people. And at least that actually made me know that I am actually doing something right. Because I remember after even getting the placement, I was like, was I really the best person in this group? Because we're like, how many? So the first cohort were like 65, I think. And somehow I was the only cloud engineer picked. And I was like, was I really the best at this? Isn't there someone better? And I remember always disturbing my manager that are you sure that you don't want to add someone else in it? And I was like, come on, you're good. And he was always trying to comfort me and motivate me. So but of course I didn't believe. But later when I started getting offers from other places. I was getting recruiters everywhere on my LinkedIn, Twitter, and I was like, wow, so I'm actually this good. People actually wanted to hear what I have to say about the cloud and the work I've been doing. They were interested in it. So I do get a lot of offers, but yet again, the whole goal is, are there actually places I can go to be the better version or rather the best version of myself? And I found that being in CIL is actually one of the biggest things in my career goals that I really want right now. So yeah. Still started this and I still want to continue this journey with them.
Oh, thank you. That's a very touching touching aspect for us as still, Okay, so let's go to the next question. That was just an lighter note. All right. This is another question. Hello, I'm from East Africa. What are my chances to get employed after finishing the program, but without acquiring the AWS certificate? Well, I think I can answer this. I think it's very important that you apply yourself. Okay, try to get as much certificate as possible. Everyone on this call, Cornelia, Qazeem, Teddy, all have different certifications. They've had to apply themselves in few months, years that they have been a part of this. So you need to keep bettering yourself. I'll advise everyone else hearing this that aspire to actually get these certifications as much as possible. I'll just leave that there. Okay, but yes, you would get employment opportunities, but it's better to actually get the certificates to solidify these things for yourself. All right, I'll go to the next question. Okay, so I'd ask this question to Teddy. Hello, I'd like to know the highlights of your training as well as advice for completing the CIL program.
Thank you, Bolanle, for that. The highlight of my training, I don't think I could necessarily pick one. Learning new stuff has always been a thrill for me. So basically, being thrown different kind of stuff along my way, having to research for them, seeing things I didn't know before. Like Qazeem mentioned, in the networking, the IP addresses and the likes, it was a thrill all through. And I would say the crown of it all was the project we did at the end, right? I've basically worked on few projects, not completed most, completed few, but none of them has come together as the one we did on CIL. So I think that was the highlight for me, and that was the peak of everything, to see a project come to life.
Okay. All right, thank you, Teddy. Okay, Qazeem, this is for you from Taiwo. What's the difference between data and cloud engineering?
Difference between data and cloud engineering. Okay, so it depends on the perspective you want to look at it from. I'll say for cloud engineering, or let me start with my data because I'm a data guy. So for data engineering, what we do or what the role of a data engineer is I think it varies from companies to companies. It also, in different companies, use different stacks and all that, but basically it's from the extract, transform, and load. That's more like what you do as a data engineer, not just that, but I think it is built around that, trying to automate processes, getting the engines to work properly. You understand? You need to know how to use Python. You need to know how to manage data. You need to know how to store data in the database. You need to, data modeling and the likes, basically, and data lakes. You understand? But for cloud engineering, is about I think provisioning infrastructure. When you hear about what's this thing called now? The IP address and all that, role of a cloud engineer basically to monitor infras, to provide the infrastructures, and yeah, basically around all that. I think Cornelia might want to explain more regarding cloud engineering for you guys, since that's what she does.
Cornelia, would you want to throw more light on the cloud part of things?
Yeah, of course. We're staying here for like 5 hours, right?
No, please, we don't have 5 hours. We're not saying train us to become cloud engineer. Just help some of us that, the only cloud we know is the one on the, in the sky.
All right. All right. Cloud engineering. Cloud engineering kind of covers like a lot of things, like a lot. I had to discover that like the hard way, but I'm just going to talk about like the most popular aspect and the things I do on a day-to-day basis. So to be a cloud engineer, you have to know your pipelines. They call us the pipeline guys. We do that morning, afternoon, evening. That's our breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So and by pipelines, most of you will know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about CI/CD, the entire process in which gets our applications or softwares right from the development stage, that is from the developers up to the production stages, and constant monitoring throughout that entire process. So you would have to know how to work with different environments. I'm talking Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. You'd have to know how to work with quite a bit of AWS services or GCP or Azure. We're talking Azure DevOps, code pipeline for AWS, code build, code deploy. You'd have to also know how to provision and maintain infrastructure. By that, you'd also know how to create your infrastructure in a way that can be scalable and versionable. By that, you'd have to learn Git, GitHub, infrastructure as code tools, Terraform, CloudFormation. You have to learn how to work with servers, EC2 instance, compute engines. You'd have to understand the concept of containerization, Docker, Kubernetes, Elastic Kubernetes services, Docker Container Registry. Let me calm down.
Just me. I'm already beginning to get scared.
All right. Also, very important, you'd have to understand the whole process of identification and security policies while in the cloud. You have to know who to give access to, what to give them access to. Security should be your top priority as a cloud engineer, because the development guys will not answer you. The data guys will abandon you if anything breaks. You have to make sure that they don't have that chance to actually break anything. You're like the guardians of the cloud or the galaxy, however you want to put it in English. So let me just stop there, please, and give time for other questions.
Cornelia just threw Qazeem under the bus. Because anyway, I'll let Qazeem Adeniyi. Okay, let's just move very quickly. Have so many questions. Bukola Oyebanji is saying, I think I am in Qazeem's circus. I'm hoping I'll achieve something good. I know some of us can see ourselves as, Cornelia, Qazeem, Techie, and you're saying, I that's where I was. Okay, that's why 0 to Techie. You're at the point where you started out as what is happening, but these people are here today, next few minutes, answer questions, to tell you about their experiences, because they want you to see that, you can achieve this too. Okay, all these plenty things that Cornelia is saying that, I have no idea. You're looking at yourself and saying, I don't even know what cloud is. Like me, the only cloud is the one in the sky. How am I going to get to this point where I'm saying a lot of IP something, infrastructure this, infrastructure that, and all? It's about applying yourself and going through the process. And I definitely, like we said yesterday, Nicola, we're rooting for you. All right, very quickly through this. John is asking, did your knowledge in data or cloud engineering allow you to switch between the two? I'm not sure who is asking this question now, or who is switching. Teddy, would you like to take this question? Did it allow you to switch?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, right, you still have to consider both parts, right? If you're a data engineer per se, you can't actually be a good data engineer if you're not part of the cloud, if you don't consider the clouds. If you don't consider security of data and the likes. Occasionally I do provision infras. I know Cornelia won't like that. Hey, stop touching my stuff. I don't like the way you did it. And including other stuff, right? But basically, as a data engineer, I still move to the cloud. I still have to learn things in the cloud because basically I work with AWS, I work with cloud provisioners and the likes. So I understand what Cornelia does, although I might not get it as in-depth as she does. But yes, you could always decide to switch between the two when you want to. And if you feel like you could always go into the two. It benefits you mostly and it increases your chances of getting recruited and the likes, understanding things better.
Okay, thank you very much for that. All right, our next question. What background do I need to become a cloud or data engineer? Taiwo, this is from Taiwo. All right, Cornelia, what background?
Background. Okay, at least with that, I'll have to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Cornelia. I studied medical biochemistry in school, and that's where it stopped. I had nothing, no formal background in computer science or software engineering. I was learning about tech during that period. So I was like trying to get familiar with the different tracks available in tech, trying to do some testing. I tried design, I tried front end, I tried back end, and but I never really got in depth in all of them. I did try to understand the concept of what computer science is, but I didn't really need too much to actually get started in the cloud or data. Well, they're all in the cloud right now. I think that should answer your question well. You don't need to have any huge prerequisites. Just have the zeal to learn and not get overwhelmed when you start feeling like so many things are coming at you at once. There's one thing I would always say is that as far as it's a human being that built and created it, there's no way you won't be able to learn it, all right?
Right, thank you very much. I think there's a whole lot of Cornelia here. Someone is saying, hello, Cornelia. I saw your LinkedIn profile that you were or are a Uniben student. Did you intern at CIL alongside school, or how did you do it?
All right. I didn't intern while in school. Okay, even CIL does not know this, but while I was doing my internship, I was actually in NYC. So during the day, I was a teacher, and in the night, I was looking for a student's home that on gen somewhere so I can plug my laptop and actually learn because my apartment had no light connection or whatsoever.
Let me just quickly whisper this. I hope our guys at the top are not hearing this. We still knew you were actually doing your NYC, don't worry.
Wow.
But yes. But of course, it's about being able to give the consistency. You had to do what you had to do. You say, and we talk about having to, work. It's self-paced. And I think this answers the question of someone asking if it's feasible to juggle your 9 to 5. I mean, you know your 9 to 5, right? You decide when it's actually suitable for you. If you need a career switch, you don't have to wait till you quit your 9 to 5 to do this. You need to figure out the time, in the day that you'll be able to take out time to actually do this. Okay, aside the induction, like we've said severally, the rest of the program is self-paced, right? You're supposed to, try to pace yourself, take your time, do your task, fight the challenges. We spoke about reinforcement yesterday, having to give yourself that push you need, take the extra time. It won't be very easy, to find this time to actually do these things, but you need to do it for yourself if you want to go through this journey. You have to know that there would always be challenges. There will be the Nigerian factors for those of us in Nigeria, power failure, fuel issues, could give you 1,000 and more reasons why you do not do what you're doing, but you have to decide to actually do this. One of the things I work with is there are two types of people who make excuses and people who give results. Choose the one you want to actually be, and you will take that decision. All right, let's quickly go to the next question. This is still hi Cornelia. Cornelia, when you started your journey as a cloud engineer, did you have any coding experience? Also, do you think you need coding to advance your career as a cloud engineer?
All right, I mentioned this earlier. While I did have a little coding experience, at the beginning of my career in the cloud, I necessarily didn't need them at that moment. I was trying to learn about cloud computing, how infrastructures have been built in the cloud, and how to maintain them. Along the line, you won't even use those popular programming languages at first. I mean, so you'd have to learn something new, like for instance, HCL for Terraform, and well, CloudFormation template and templating language there. I'm just trying to say that most of the time your programming language won't be needed at the beginning of your journey. You get to learn new things going forward, and you use what you learned at that period to build yourself. There is always time to learn the language if you don't know them yet. And yeah, nothing is stopping you as in period experience wise there.
Okay, thank you. There are so many questions. I feel like we can do this all day, but I'll just pick one or two more. If your questions are not being answered, please, you know their names now. Go and look for them on LinkedIn. Drag them, ask them all the questions you need. And yes, they're obliged to actually respond to you. Don't worry. If they don't respond, report them. Okay, that's just an enlightened note. Okay, cousin, someone is asking, Omar is asking, in the process of your learning, what was the most challenging experience you had? And was there any time you felt like giving up?
Everything's almost challenging. So let me just give you like a quick breakdown. Like ours, definitely yours will definitely be different. Own, we'll be given task. Then when they give us time to complete that task. Then after the task, we do the interview. Like they ask us, okay, can you answer this? How did you do this? And all that. So I think it was the third, when I got to the third level, either the third or second one. What did we do there? No, I think it was something on Python. So they started asking questions, or was it on Terraform? And the funny part was that, you know, okay, my first two interviews were very good. Like I was feeling myself now. So the third one, my God, that part that I left out was the question that he asked. I almost fainted. Like, my goodness, how did I do this? Like, why? I knew every other thing, but that particular part. So I was just, I think, that kind of a thing now. So I think it was on Terraform. Everything was challenging. Everything was like new concepts to me, almost everything. So it took me time to always like, study, do more YouTube research, read all over and over, do everything that is right, cross my T's and dot the I's. But for me, I think the major thing you need in this market, first thing you need is to believe in yourself. Like, know that you don't have any competition. Your biggest competitor is the person you see in the mirror. So when you know that you have to push yourself, you need to be motivated. The other thing is, what actually drove you into tech? So for me, I was doing construction, and everybody knows what construction is all about now. But for me, it's about the impact. Like, I want to solve certain problems. That's why I came into tech. Sorry. So if you have those things, pushing you, like those things motivating you, will keep you going. You definitely have challenges. There'll be times that you say, can I go drop out like this? Or can I, just like Cornelia was saying, am I good enough? Like, But once you keep pushing, once you keep doing what you're supposed to do, like make sure you're thorough with your work. Like any task they give you, make sure you're thorough with it and get the concept to the very, like, to the most little thing you can think about. understand the concept. That's the major thing you need also. Understand the concept. And I think you'll be good to go.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. One last word. Let Teddy, Cornelia, Cousin, what's like the motivation or something you think they need to know before you leave? We need to wrap this up for our next speaker.
Okay. So who's going first?
Okay, you're talking already, so just go first. Just, I mean, 30
Okay.
seconds to
Okay.
charge. We couldn't take all the questions. But,
Okay, no
I
problem.
mean,
So this is it. For this CIL Academy that you guys are doing now. First thing, like I said, believe in yourself. You have 1 million. You always contest with people. You always compete with people. But don't let the numbers scare you. First thing is know that you can do it. So when you know you can do it, the rest is beans. You don't have an issue. The other thing is in CIL, competency comes first. So whether you're from East Africa, you're from West Africa, you're from London, anywhere, all we need from you is prove yourself. Once you prove yourself, trust me, you're the #1 person. Thank you very much, guys.
thank you, Cousin. Teddy, do you have last words?
I don't really think I have much to say because them has finished it up. What I would add would be always be ready, be open to learn more, be always open to learn more. I think still has a knack for hiring people that didn't study computer science or anything. So you could come from like any background per se, it doesn't really matter. It's up to you. If you're willing to learn, you always get there. If you're willing to go more, go further, just like Qazeem said. There's always going to be new things to learn. As long as you're willing to. Basically, you have everything covered. That's it from my end.
Thank you, Teddy. Cornelia, 30 seconds. You want to say something?
All right. What was my motivation? Well, my motivation was a little bit different. The goal was that I wanted to finish my NSC with a job waiting for me. I didn't want to be idle throughout because I'm always scared of being comfortable in code. And I feel like if you see something that just meets one of your needs, you tend to just relax. And that is something I try to avoid. So I'm a warrior. I always wonder what's going to happen. But along the line, I found out that tackling issues one at a time, you fight for what is in front of you. It's really helpful. You don't need to over plan anything. Just try your best. And also think that your best is enough. Like you don't have to be the best. Like I keep saying, I'm going to say this till tomorrow. There's probably someone better out there that would have been chosen, no matter how much they say that they prefer me or something. Just know that no matter what, like what Qazeem says, there is no competition. It's just you and your learning journey. No one is going to take that away from you. So at the end of everything, it's you, okay? So yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you guys for coming in. We know you guys had a lot to do, but you had to come in to share this. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I hope we've gotten one or two things here. I'll be handing over to Joan now to introduce our next guest. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you very much, Omobolanle. Thank you, our dear alumni. We're really glad to have you guys. So the next person that will be speaking to us is someone that I'm very glad I have the honor to introduce in person of Diergo. You guys are going to see his name come up anytime from now. And I'm going to do a bit of introduction. Okay. And you guys can see his video as well over there. So Diergo Olerni is a highly accomplished principal cloud architect with over 20 years of experience in the technology industry. Before his tenure at Vodafone, where he currently operates as the technical authority of cloud technologies, within the engineering and transformation department in Vodafone Group. He held senior positions such as senior system engineers at Bravo Solution, Agile One, and lead infrastructure engineer at Rackspace, and is well versed in a variety of technologies, from traditional on-premises and data centers infrastructure to public cloud platforms, primarily AWS and anything in between. Okay. Diergo has a deep understanding of high availability, scalability, security, and cost optimization, and strives to empower organizations to achieve their objectives by applying his expertise and knowledge on the opportunities that cloud technologies offer. He brings a unique combination of technical expertise and leadership experience to design, implement, and manage high-quality public and hybrid cloud platforms. In addition to his technical expertise, Diergo is known for his ability to communicate complex technical concepts in an easily understandable manner to different audiences, from engineering teams to director and C-level, and for working closely with clients and stakeholders to understand their unique goals, needs, and challenges, ensuring the solutions he designs are tailored to their specific technical and business requirements. This allows Diergo to effectively collaborate with cross-functional teams and stakeholders across the company, providing guidance and advice throughout the lifecycle of the project he leads. In his spare time, Diergo co-leads the AWS user group for the Thames Valley in the UK, organizing monthly meetup events and growing the local technical communities through social media contributions. And this is quite a lot. And thank you very much, Diergo, for your presence today. We're really glad to have you. So the floor is yours, Diergo.
Thank you very much. Hope you can hear me.
Very well.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I don't feel much of a role model, so I'm blushing a little bit. You can't see it because of my pale concoctions, but I'm glad to be here today and to be able to share a bit of my history. As you can see from my background, even if I'm an accomplished cloud architect, I don't seem to be able to straighten up my background. So you never stop learning, right, in your career. So don't worry if you think everything is new and difficult. You'll always find challenges in your career. But I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and I'll try to keep as much time as possible for Q&As. Well, so I've been working in technology for more than 20 years now. Now I have a baby face, but I'm actually a bit old. But I've been playing with technology for almost 30 years. So when I started, you didn't have the internet, you didn't have mobile phones. Smartphones were something that you could see in sci-fi movies. What else? Yeah, the world was very different. And I started by putting together and taking apart computers. I don't come from a rich family, but my parents were forward-thinking enough that they got me a computer, and I started taking it apart and upgrading parts and playing around with that. We had floppy disks, which you probably don't even know what they are anymore. You have SD cards now that can hold, I don't know, 1,000 times as much as a floppy disk. So that's how old I am. But long story short, I started playing with computers, and then that became my job almost by accident. A friend pinged me and said he had a friend who needed a support technician, and I started just working around a telecom company, supporting the computers of the employees. So start from a very low entry-level job, very junior, had no experience whatsoever. And then from there, I was always a kind of a curious person, so I started looking around for opportunities to do something that would fulfill me more. And I think this is something that's very important. I'm always looking for something that can make me feel good about myself and accomplished. I'll get to the money part later, but let's keep going through my career. Again, very brief summary because it's longer than I wish it was. So I went through like desktop support, and then I started doing a bit of teaching. I put set up my own company. I did a bit of teaching, again, technical subjects, from how to use Microsoft Word to how to put together a network of computers. So really 360 degrees, and trying to find what my path was. And I also started doing some consultancy. At the time, Linux was something that people didn't really know about much. They wanted to use it because it was free. Microsoft was the evil empire. It was very expensive, and smaller companies wanted to use Linux because it was free, but they didn't know how to use it. So I saw an opportunity there. And that's kind of the thread of my career. I see an opportunity, I see something that I want to learn, and I move into that space. So after that, I decided I want a bit more of a challenge, and I came to London. I came to the UK. I don't live in London anymore, but I came to the UK, and I had to start again from scratch. I didn't know anyone. I looked for a job. I didn't have enough money to live the full month on my own, so I had to find a job quick, and I started again from desktop support. First company I found that would pay me to do the job, I joined them. Stay with them for a few months, and then I saw an opportunity, and I became a senior engineer at an Italian English company. So it's my home country is Italy. They wanted someone who spoke Italian, but who was very technical, and who was happy to live in the UK, and that was me. So I stayed there for a few years. Then I move on. Long story short, through my career, I landed at I landed at Rackspace at some point. Rackspace used to be primarily a hosting company. Now they do a lot more cloud support, and they had their own private cloud. Again, something new, something interesting, something exciting, something that I can exploit to grow. Again, money is not a big consideration at this stage. I had enough money to live, to pay my bills. I was happy enough, but I was looking for a challenge. So get into the cloud space. I see that the public cloud that Rackspace was selling wasn't really gaining enough traction, but AWS was coming up and rising. So again, an interesting space that has a lot of opportunities. And this is now 2012. About 2012, so we're talking about 10 years ago, right? AWS 10 years ago wasn't what AWS is today. It was a lot fewer services, a lot more opportunities, a lot less competition on the market. So again, I started learning about AWS, then went back and forth with other companies, joined Agile One, and then I went back to Rackspace. Some point something wasn't clicking for me anymore, and I was still a lead engineer at that stage, and I wanted to do a bit more architecture, and that's where things start becoming a bit more about career than about technology. I interviewed for an internal position as an architect at Rackspace, and it took them 6 months to get back to me. By the time they got back to me and they said, we want to offer you a position, I had already engaged with Vodafone, and Vodafone were like, yeah, we want you. Here's the position, here's the money, and whatever. And it just so happened that Vodafone was also closer to home. I had moved out of London in the meanwhile, and Vodafone was closer to home. It was more convenient for me to get to. And that's where, again, things start changing. As you grow in your career, the curiosity should always remain, but other priorities will change around you. Initially, you may think, well, I can get to the end of the month, but if I had a bit more money, that would be easier, right? Then as you get to, I have enough money now, I don't really care about, obviously I want to keep up with inflation, but I don't really care about being rich. I care about being happy. So for me, not having to go into London and spending 3 hours of my day commuting, but actually being able to cycle to work. I was still spending 2 hours a day commuting, but I was on my bicycle. That made a huge difference, right? So where am I now? I'm still working with cloud. I'm again a happy architect. there are ups and downs every day. There's highs and lows. You never have a perfect, you may have a perfect day. It's rare that you have a perfect week. You'll never have a perfect month. And I see OJ smiling. OJ and I used to work in the same company. He used to work in Vodafone as well. And we know what we're talking about, because it's you always have challenges, but that's also the good part, right? It's if everything were easy all the time, at some point you get bored. You want a challenge. You need something to keep you interested. Now, there are challenges that you would rather not have, but in general, you need something to keep you growing, and that's where I think the core of our drive in this career. Sorry for a bit lost for words. Our drive is with being able to keep growing, being able to keep solving challenges. I think if we're looking into technology and cloud technologies in this case, we're curious people. That's a trait that we all share, I believe, and that's where at some point, again, money, yes, it's important. It pays the bills, but it's not the primary thing you should worry about. You should really look at, where am I happier? What is my best opportunity to grow? And again, going back to my career, at some point I joined a company. Again, one of the ones I mentioned, I won't say which one. I joined them, and they were paying me really well, and I wasn't happy. And after 6 months, I couldn't wait to get away from them. And after a few more months, because again, you look at how things look on your CV sometimes, and it's not really, as in the UK, if you jump from one company to another, after a while you're not taken seriously anymore. So that's something that you want to consider before committing to a company. Make your due diligence and think that you're going to stay with that company for a period of time. But as soon as I could, I just moved away. Again, well paid. I was working from home when working from home was something that most people were only dreaming about, but still I wasn't happy, right? So happiness, I think, is one of the main things that you'll figure out what it is. When you start with your career, you don't know what makes you happy. It's all new, it's all different, and it's all to find out, right? But after a while, you'll figure out what is that actually makes you get out of bed in the morning with a smile on your face and happy to go to work. Again, not every day, but most days you'll look forward to the day that's ahead of you, and think, okay, I'm happy doing what I do. If every day you wake up and think, well, I'm not really happy, I'd rather not go to work today. If that's every day, then maybe something should change. Right. Let me quickly look at my notes if there's anything else that I really want to share, but otherwise I could open it to Q&As. A few things that I heard, actually. I heard someone asking about AWS certifications. So I'll tell you what I think about certifications from the point of view of someone who has been a hiring manager. So I've been in a position of having to choose who to hire from a pool of candidates. And I was recruiting for a senior position. So again, it may be different if you're starting into the job. But I was hiring for a senior position. And we had candidates who had no certifications. And at that stage, right, so first of all, I don't believe that certifications tell the whole story. So you will find a lot of technology professionals who have certifications, sometimes a dozen certifications, and they still don't know what they're talking about. Or maybe they know what they're talking about, but they're imprecise, or they're speaking, out of place, or so certification doesn't paint the whole picture. However, if you're applying for a senior or intermediate to senior position and you have no certification at all, you really have to work harder to demonstrate that you know what you're talking about. So it's not impossible to be hired without a certification in certain positions, but expect to be quizzed a lot more. And there's one lesson that when I came to the UK, the first interview I had, the hiring manager taught me a very important lesson. It was about me not wearing a tie, but it can be translated to other things in life. I wasn't wearing a tie to my interview. I was well dressed, like the picture you see on the screen, almost exactly like that, wearing a suit, a nice shirt, but I wasn't wearing a tie. Because at the time where I came from, we dressed like that in formal occasions. So we would not wear a tie in formal occasions. And that was just the way I was behaving. And my hiring manager, who offered me a position in the end, he said, I could decide not to hire you today just because you're not wearing a tie. So don't give people a reason not to hire you. Well, when everything else is equal, don't give people a reason not to give you an opportunity. And that applies to certifications. So if you are applying for a job and there's 20 people applying for the same job, and you are one of the ones without the certifications, and I'm screening through CVs, I may just say, well, I'm not going to interview all the candidates. So one criteria could be, I won't interview the candidates without the certification. So the certification is not everything, but it can make a difference. You need to know what you're talking about, but if you don't have a certification, it may become more difficult. You will find a job. You don't need a certification to find a job at all costs, but you may lose out on some opportunities if you don't have one. So at least if you are serious about a career in cloud, get at least the basic certifications for the specific role that you're looking for. You want to become an architect, get at least the associate certification, so the entry-level certification for the architects. You want to become a developer. Well, as a developer, maybe it's different because you can have skill-based tests, so you demonstrate how good you are at coding. But if you have a certification that says that you're good at coding, then again, it's a differentiator. I'll stop here because I'm conscious of time. I want to give the opportunity to ask questions.
All right, thank you very much, Diego. Thank you for sharing your story. So guys, there's some questions ready for you, Diego, and I'm sure we'll be getting more as we start answering these ones. So someone has a concern here saying starting a tech career at 35 is too late. Is the question, and how long does it take to climb the career ladder to get a bit comfortable?
It really depends where you start from. I started working relatively late in life. I was doing other things. My first job, I think I was about 24 when I started working. And as I said, about 7-8 years later, when I moved to the UK, I almost started from scratch again. So there will be setbacks, or I see young people that come into the industry with a degree, and they are maybe not at my level because they lack the experience on the job, but they start from already mid to high positions, right? So it really depends where you're starting from and what the opportunities in front of you are, because you may make the right choice, you may make the wrong choice, but I would think, don't worry too much about how long it's going to take me to get there. Think more about, am I happy in my current position, and what can I do to be happier? And I know that it sounds very, very easy from my point of view. As I said, I'm now in a position where I don't really worry too much about the salary. I worry more about other things in life. So it can sound a bit patronizing from my point of view to talking to young people that are starting out, but it's one of the things that experience teaches you. If you're happy doing what you're doing, as long as that provides you enough to sustain yourself, right? Of course, if you don't have it, if you don't make enough money and you have to work 3 jobs, that's a different conversation. But as long as you're doing something that you like doing, and you keep being curious, you keep learning new things, and you keep looking for opportunities. So in my case, for example, I don't stick to what I do, what my role asks me to do. I try to do something outside, to color outside the lines in a way, right? I try to find opportunities to do different things in the company so that I have contacts with people outside my team, people outside my immediate manager, and so on, and I create opportunities for myself. The same is true with society. I'm a user group leader, and that gives me the opportunity to meet new people. Now, I'm not looking for another job, but if I were, I would have other people to talk to about that. So try to get involved outside of your day-to-day and create opportunities for yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, Diergo. I think that pretty much covers it. There's some other questions there that I'm gonna have to assign to other people. James, please check. There's a question I think you can help us out with, so we can have more time to answer Diego's questions. Someone's asking, is there barrier to entry this field as a newbie? I think Diego already answered that. Please, I'm joining for the first time. What material do I need? Okay, that's for us. Please, Diego, must I have a website before I can be hired? Diego, do you want to help us speak to that a bit?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you say again?
Say, please, Diego, must I have a website before I can be hired?
No, you don't need to. Again, just how can I put this? If you right, okay, so let's take a step back. I live in the UK. I don't know what your situation is locally, right? So there are things I cannot really answer because I'm not aware of your individual situation. But if you have the opportunity, the best way to get hired is to talk to people directly, if you can, right? Make yourself known. Can you, if you want to become a developer, can you contribute to open source projects by doing something like a code review in GitHub or some? For a time, I contributed to a high visibility open source project by doing the translation of the documentation from English to Italian. And again, in the end, it didn't do anything for me, but it was something for me to get involved. So it's, get involved, be curious, find out what works for you, but also be part of the community where you can be. A lot of opportunities that I came across were through talking to people and becoming friends with people that then brought opportunities for me. That was, for example, my first job. Again, I wasn't even looking for a job, and someone came to me and said, hey, someone needs a technician. Do you want to give it a go? And that's how I started. So.
Okay, thank you very much, Diego. Yeah, I think it pretty much does. So about that as well, there was something that was said yesterday about blogging your journey. Okay, so it's not just about you creating a website or any of those things. Talk about what you're working on, talk about what you're learning, and with time, you definitely will get people that are pretty much interested in what you're offering or what you're learning, and they're willing to give you a shot. So I think that's like a general answer that anybody can apply. Thank you very much, Diego. It's been really, really impactful here this morning. We're very glad to have you around. So we're sure any other time maybe we need some support to probably speak to us again, motivate us, that'll be able to reach you. Thank you very much, Diego.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, guys. I think that was really great. You pretty much covered like a lot. Some of it might not be applicable immediately now because maybe all the things I was mentioning are like quite big, but the idea is to set a picture, to create a picture in your head of what is possible, what is in front of you, and what you can do with your career. It's not just about the age limit. It's not about anything. No matter how early or how late you think you're starting, there is enough space for everybody to make it. Okay, just remember what we said yesterday. Keep starting, right? Keep on pushing yourself to make sure you're doing what is required of you, and with time everything gets better. Okay, so we're like 2 minutes over the time planned for this session, for this morning session, and we're going to be closing this now. We reconvene by 2 o'clock for the afternoon session, and I'm going to be displaying the code for this morning session now. So please pay attention. And like G already said as well, just in case you went to urinate when the other ones are shared, don't panic and don't make drastic decisions because of that. Okay, anyone you are able to keep, please make sure you keep them. We strongly advise to keep everyone every session, but just in case you miss one out, I went through the stress of making sure I attended to every single person yesterday on Slack that had issues with the code, right? But I also dropped a message on the Slack channel that says that if you're having any issue, maybe you miss one of the codes that we share at any point, don't panic. Just make sure anyone we share that you'll be able to get, just keep them, okay? And when the time comes that we need them, and maybe we're asking you for it again, be able to provide it. All right, so this is the code for this morning session. Please check and make sure you have it.
And,
drop a comment if you're not able to see my screen.
While you guys are taking a look at the codes, I just want to chime in a few words. So firstly, I want to say a big thank you first to the guys running the show, right? You guys don't know how much work they're doing in the background. A lot of them are sleeping very few hours these days just to keep this whole program running. So a big shout out to them. Also, I want to recognize the CIL Academy, the ex-CIL Academy guys that you guys were quizzing earlier. Those guys, they put in a lot of work. Like they said to you, sometimes they see the mountain in front of them and it might look overwhelming, but I want you to look at them as examples about someone said in the call, Cornelia is happy. Like, she's always very happy, she's always smiling. Even if you're telling her she's going to like build a new bridge between America and Asia, even if she doesn't know how to, she'll still be smiling. So that's the kind of person she is, and it's a good thing to feel that way about what you do. And also I want to say a very big thank you to Diergo. He is I've worked with a lot of architects and I've worked with a lot of engineers, a lot of techie people all my career, but there are very few people that can translate. We said something, someone was asking a question, I think a couple of days ago, about engineers and architects. What's the difference, right? And I said architects are more focused around solving the problems, the business, about getting the value for the business. The engineers, sometimes we can get lost in the solution and the technology of it and all of that. Now, Diergo is one of those very few people in my career that I have met and worked with that is able to keep an eye on the business value, right? And you can hear from his life experience, right, what helps him to do that. So your life experience, if you bring it into your career, if you learn from your life, it helps you to focus on what's important. You heard him talk a lot about finding happy. There was an undertone there constantly about he didn't use the word Maslow's pyramid, but those of you that might be familiar with what that is, he took you through Maslow's pyramid, and then on that journey, first you're trying to survive, put a roof over your head, clothes on your back. You're trying to feed your family and doing stuff like that. Then you go higher up the pyramid and you get to that point where what you're trying to do is find happy, is to make an impact, is to do something that is I think that is beyond just surviving. And if you look at that journey, it gives you a different perspective. And I've seen Diergo work, and I can tell you this: his life journey reflects in his work, and it makes him very valuable to any employer. There are very few architects out there, that can relate tech to value, to business value, to changing lives and stuff like that. All of you will go on that journey. Some of you are starting out that journey. And to the person that was asking whether 35 is too late or to start, trust me, it's just a number. It doesn't even. I've had people in entry-level roles that were much older than that, and they've gone on to fly, right? I can tell you tons of stories about people in my career that I have come across, that I have worked with, and there's enough space, there's room for all of you, right? So thank you very much. I want you all to stay motivated, keep the energy, keep the fire. And I will say this to you: what we've put together is not a walk in the park, right? But I'm very confident that if you follow through, if you apply yourself, right, what you become afterwards is something you will be very proud of. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, OJ. So that will be all for the morning session, guys. See you guys by 2 o'clock. Have a good morning.